Yeah, we both played it.
I played the on rails version, so I didn't have any movement involved, and I thought the aiming was pretty good.
Really?
And that's just like a bonus. That's not even the main game. That's just like
it's not the best FPS controls on any console ever.
I mean, you know, and Force is right. It's just the arcade mode. That's kind of like a bonus mode. It wasn't the real game. But I will have to say that I was actually, during the filming of that, I mentioned on tape that it was like, you know, I was kind of surprised with the accuracy.
So it
wasn't like aiming in that Olympic
shooting
game.
Right, because that was seriously like pulling fucking teeth, dude.
Yeah, so I think Force is right. I think it's game to game, maybe how they program it, maybe how it interprets the signal of the infrared. You know, who knows what really at the end of the day causes it. But I will have to say that in this Medal of Honor game that I played, the aiming was quite good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I
Did that hurt to say, Suma? Was that or Rance? Was that painful?
Yeah, dude. You heard that half a second of silence, right?
Nah. All right. Well, fair enough. Let's move on to the next item, which also happens to be about the Wii. You know, I know a lot of people, they're tired of the Wii hate, but tough shit. This is EG. You're going to get a little bit. Force is the guy that's going to keep us level-headed, I think, on the Wii. But in other Wii news, another user mail from Linus Laxon came in, but this time with a graphic attached, you guys. He asked the question, is it really this bad? Well, what he was referring to was the graphics of the Wii in a screenshot that actually compared two games. Unfortunately, whether the user knows it or not, he actually answers his own question. And let's look at this screenshot full screen. Now, it's going to be kind of hard to see here, but the two games being compared are Medal of Honor's Heroes 2 and Company of Heroes. Looking at the Medal of Heroes shot, I'd say, yeah, this is bad, especially when you compare it to something like Call of Duty 4 that's just come out, and you know, or Warhawk, or anything on the other quote-unquote next-gen systems. Now, this game looks like a game for the GameCube, maybe even the original Xbox. That's what I would compare it to.
Yeah, I would say that too.
Company of Heroes really doesn't look any better right there. It is blocky. I understand where he's going at, but the problem is that Company of Heroes is an RTS, and the view that you see here does not reflect how you play the game 99% of the time, which is demonstrated in this next screenshot, which Rance is going to show. There you go.
Holy shit.
You know, that basically...
That is where you play from in Company of Heroes.
Exactly. So you're seeing, like, the reason those polygons or those characters so up close are blocky like that, like in the user screenshot, is because you're taking a camera from out here and you're moving it in, right? To right here, like right up on his shit. And you can see him there. So, like, he's behind some sandbags, right? Well, do it again. Put up the other screenshot. Okay, imagine that he's right down here below this tank on the left side of your screen by this one sandbag, and that's like 1/90th of the screen right there. So, you know, I think the answer is yes, the Wii kind of is that bad graphically. You know, and that's another thing going back to it, Force, is that, you know, it kind of is upsetting to me. It's kind of a bummer that, okay, yeah, maybe the Wii can produce some pretty incredible and intuitive controls for an FPS, but it's not ever going to achieve the visuals that we're going to see in BioShock or the unbelievable shit we're going to see in COD4. So it's kind of like, you know, and again, we're not turning this into a Wii graphics versus PS3 graphics. We obviously know.
Yeah, how are you going to compare that hardware? That blows me away.
I know, but the point of the matter is that great, we just innovated gameplay with graphics that are 5 years ago.
Listen, here's what I will tell you, all right? When you play Super Mario Galaxies, you will know that the Wii in the right hands has at least a few years ahead of it.
That's good.
It is not totally
the
outclassed
Wii in first-party hands has a few years ahead of it. But I haven't seen a game that looks as good as Mario Galaxies that doesn't come from a first-party publisher. Basically Nintendo. So if Nintendo don't make it, it's probably not going to look that great. That's kind of what I've seen so far.
And you know, that's kind of been the history with all of their machines. Except for the few Capcom exclusives that always blow the shit out of the water. But
yeah, I mean,
they're always a first-party machine. That's why they're only $200. You're only going to buy their games for it.
Well,
it's like
I mean,
it's a huge investment.
I'm really trying to think back to the 8-bit era. You know, first-party games in the 8-bit Nintendo, they were prominent. Kid Icarus, Metroid, fucking, you know, these are definitely Zelda. Those are games that I loved. But, you know, I loved Contra. I loved my Mega Mans. I love fucking The Adventures of Bayou Billy. You know, there were a lot of games on there that weren't done by Nintendo, but still I loved. Same thing for the Super Nintendo, not so much for the N64. That's where we started to see that trend of, if it's not made by Nintendo, it may end up being shit. And, you know, I don't know, but you're right. I will be the first one to admit, I know that people are, there's going to be a worldwide when you hear this, but Mario Galaxies, it looks pretty fucking good considering how much negative flack I've given to the Wii. I will definitely say that I look at that and even I am surprised, Force. I'm surprised. A lot of it looks very well done. I mean, I don't feel like it's Ratchet and Clank. I don't feel like they've got millions of polygons going, but it still looks fucking good. It looks smooth. It's colorful. It seems to have very good anti-aliasing, and I will give it that. And I'm still going to try out the game. And I look forward to at least playing it and, you know, seeing if I can maybe break this this Wii hate marathon that I seem to be running eternally.
Dude, I hope the game does it for you. I'm loving it.
Are you?
Dude, I've only done 8 stars, and I've already fought 3 bosses, already done a mini mission. All controls beautifully. It looks awesome. I'm loving it.
Does
and it's
it
weird to
feel
think in all these
young
AAA
to you?
titles that are hitting.
Does it feel young to you, Force?
No, it feels like a hyped up version of Mario 64, which I used to love.
So because one of the things I really didn't like about Super Paper Mario is not only did they detract away from the RPG elements of it, but also it was just way too kiddish for me. Like,
no. This is one of those games where you play it and you can't believe the brains it must have taken to think of some of these stages in 3D and what you have to do to solve some of the puzzles. It's not insulting.
In retrospect, Super Mario 64 versus, you know, Super Paper Mario, there's not as much story in Super Mario 64. You know, it's more about the platformer.
There's not much story. The story connecting everything's pretty weak, but the platforming is the shit.
Okay.
You know what this kind of reminds me of?
I may pick it up this weekend. What?
It reminds me of how the PS3 is kind of getting a slow start because there's not enough games. Maybe we need some more time as developers start to really.
It's a fair point, Camera. It is a fair point because it's a different control scheme. It's something new. And, you know, but the bottom line is that the Wii's been out, what, 2 years now?
Yeah, I know it's a half-assed system, but, you know, hopefully, as hearing what Force says, that perhaps there's going to be some games that will be really legitimate, and I kind of look forward to it now.
I mean, how long did it take
Medal of Honors 2 looked pretty legitimate, too.
Which did?
Medal of Honor.
This Medal of Honor 2 that we were talking about.
I mean, it looks better than most of the games I've seen. It doesn't look like, you know, Medal of Honor Airborne or anything like that.
Not when COD4 hit.
Right.
Everything looks like shit now.
I was also going to point out or just say that, you know, we didn't see 3D graphics on the Nintendo DS until Final Fantasy III, pretty much. Well, I guess the face and brain age is 3D, but, you know, what does it do?
And the port of Mario 64. Don't forget that.
Well, okay, fair enough. So
we didn't see it done well till then.
Right. So, you know, I will give that point from some solid merit, you know, because I am a guy that perpetuates the whole give PS3 the time and it will eventually make it. So I can only extend the same the same benefit to the Nintendo Wii. I'm not changing my views here yet, but I'm just trying to be a little bit more. I'm trying to take the blinders off, guys, a little bit this season. Okay, if you don't, you know, if you want me to keep up the Wii hate, I can do that no problem. But I'm trying. I'm struggling, but I'm trying.
You can give that job to Suma.
Yeah, dude.
He's the one that hates educating
himself.
In fact,
I saw an email from a user today that declared that actually Suma is more of a PS3 fanboy than I am, which is fine. That's totally cool with me. I'll try to play neutral field on all the systems. But let's get into our game reviews, guys. We're going to throw some at you real quickly here, and I'm going to start